You may have seen George Romney's work in the National Gallery. He occupies the same rarefied air as 18th century titans like Thomas Gainsborough and Sir Joshua Reynolds, but his origins suggest a different path. Born near Barrow-in-Furness to a furniture maker, Romney's formal schooling ended at the age of 10 so he could join the family trade. Ambition eventually pulled him south. At the age of 28, Romney left his wife and children in Lancashire and moved to London alone, determined to prove himself in the capital. There was a rigid hierarchy in the 18th century art world. At the summit, history painting carried more moral weight. Portraiture was a lesser commercial craft. Romney lacked formal academic training for the top tier. He bridged the gap through a private obsessive study of old masters. He nearly succeeded with the depiction of the death of General Wolfe, but he ran into Sir Joshua Reynolds, the future founder of the Royal Academy and the era's most powerful gatekeeper, who criticised his work. Following Reynolds' intervention, Romney's prize was downgraded. The rejection was permanent. Romney spent the rest of his career outside the prestigious Royal Academy, with the front door of the establishment closed. Romney sought an independent route to success. He moved to Cavendish Square and began building a studio from the ground. In Marylebone, Romney leaned into the commercial reality of portraiture. He built a high-volume studio that catered to a growing class of clients looking for an alternative to the expensive Academy insiders. He maintained an exhausting pace. While his rivals used assistants, Romney painted nearly every stroke himself to maintain his quality reputation. His career reached its zenith when he met Emma Hart, the future Lady Emma Hamilton. She became his most frequent and influential subject. Emma's talent for expressive poses gave Romney a window back into the world of history painting. He used her likeness to infuse commercial portraits with a grand drama of classical theatre, creating works that were highly sought after. Romney's success didn't bring peace. He struggled with the emotional consequences of leaving his family, often using work as an escape from his own choices. He fell into a cycle of overwork, painting for hours without assistance. This rhythm sustained his studio, but visibly eroded his health. Every increase in his public standing was mirrored by a decline in his physical condition. He was paying for his reputation with his own exhaustion. By the late 1790s, Romney was wealthy enough to plan his retirement. He chose Hampstead, hoping the elevation and clean air would provide the rest he had deferred for decades. The project stalled before the house could be completed. Romney's mental health fractured. The drive that had built his career had finally reached its limit. He abandoned the capital he had spent 30 years conquering. His mind was failing, and the success he had built in London was no longer something he could navigate. Romney returned to the north. He spent his final months being cared for by his wife that he had left behind in his youth, eventually dying in 1802. He achieved the professional immortality he sought. He simply lost the clarity of mind required to witness it. 2 centuries later, Romney's legacy is secure. His portraits of Emma Hamilton are icons of the Georgian era, hanging in the world's most visited galleries. The plaque in Hampstead records his name and his profession. It also marks the spot where his ambition finally collided with his health. We admire the beauty of the art that survives. The question is whether the artist would have chosen the same path if he could have seen the price he would have to pay in advance. Step into the canvas. Discover the people who shape the area, walk past notable buildings and experience Hampstead's finest views. The story of George Romney is just one layer of this historically compelling neighbourhood. Book a private tour or book your tickets for a guided walk with londonguidedwalks.co.uk.